Call the meeting to order. This is the June Board of Alderman regular session meeting. This time I welcome everyone and like for us to stand and do a pledge of allegiance. And then Renee Brain, Director of the Swanville Valley Christian Ministry, will do our invocation. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. God, you are in this very room. We ask your blessings on everyone present. Bless this meeting and every discussion and decision. May we carry you in our hearts, souls, and minds in everything we say and do. May our actions and deeds come only from you. May the love in our hearts shine through to those in darkness, to those who have need for healing and hope. May we forgive, love, and heal. May you dwell so deeply within us that your love transcends into every person, and especially to those who need to know you are real, you are present, you are available equally to all of us. We love you. You are our joy, strength, and peace. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
be seated. Renee, how about bring us up to date on Swanville Valley Christian Ministry?
The ministry is doing very well right now. We still have quite a few clients coming in for services, and I thought I'd just take a minute to tell you that we serve an average of 633 households each month. That's quite a few people, and there's usually 3 people in a household. We spent so far this year on client services only more than $160,000. On food, we've given away almost $130,000 so far this year. So the ministry, there's a lot of hurting people out there. And I just want to thank this community for the food, for the gifts of clothing, for the financial support, and just for the churches and the businesses and the individuals that support us. Because without your help, we couldn't do any of the good that we do. And there's a lot of hurting people out there suffering with cancer or just in poverty, a lot of little children, and we can serve them thanks to this community, and we're just very thankful.
Thank you. Thank you for your leadership. This time we'll have citizen comments. First name is John DeWitt. Would public comments for 3 minutes?
Thank you. I just wanted to bring the aldermen and the public up to date a minute on the golf course and share a thing about the welcome table. As you know, last month questions were asked about some of the changes that were recommended, and we would follow up on it. And the 3 things that were discussed was cutting the rough down to make it more playable, which was done. The pro shop moved. Today, if you want to play, it's up at the new thing again, so the pro shop has moved back to its original location. And Billy Casper hired a person to clean the carts, and they hired a washer, a high-powered washer, to wash the carts too. So we've taken care of those 3 concerns. I think the only concern that we're working with now is the 16th green that still has not it's playable, but not to the standard I think that we would want. So we're working, Alderman Sobel has made some suggestions, and we're looking at that with Billy Casper in terms of cutting some of the shrubbery down, maybe in the trees, to get some sunlight in there, and if we can get that solved. But it's not an easy solution like the other 3 were. So we're aware of it, and we're going to continue to monitor that because we're concerned about that. The good news is that we have 137 full-time members at the golf course. It's gone up. We have 181 people that have bought the cards, the playing cards, the gold cards, and the playing cards. So that basically brings our membership up to 298 members at the club. So we're excited about that in terms of it's busy. Up until yesterday, we had 10,882 green fees collected. Rounds were played at the course, and the income to the course as of last night was about $301,000. So as opposed to the negative numbers we used to deal with, the $180,000 deficit, at this point we're at $301,000 of income that does not include food service. And I have that date, so I don't know how many beers or so, I can tell you exactly that. The exciting part is, and I hope some of you got the booklet, I brought a booklet for all of you on the golf course. It makes it look very good, and I'll distribute these to you all. These were paid for by sponsors, no cost to Billy Casper or to the town. We're all paid for by sponsors, and you'll see how impressive it is. Second thing that I just want to bring everyone in the community up to date is the food distribution that has been traditionally done by the town at the Carver Center on the fourth Thursday of every month, using Community Garden and Manna Food Bank with fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. We have sort of taken over that responsibility through the welcome table. And now every Tuesday and every Wednesday at St. James Episcopal Church, the welcome table will distribute food to the community, to those in need. As you just heard, there's still a tremendous need in this town. So on Tuesdays, we'll pick up food from Manna and the Community Garden. We will have a huge area set up outside or inside if it's raining. Anyone who's in need can come and pick up fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, and other stuff from Manna. It'll be Tuesdays from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, Wednesdays from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. It's open to the community. Every week we will have stuff there. And that's kind of in response to the fact that the welcome table itself, we're up to about 250 people every week now in terms of the lunch. So as the need has increased, the Community Garden and the Manna have asked us to kind of spearhead that. So that starts tomorrow. So if anybody needs fresh vegetables, I just unloaded them at the church from the Community Garden. So we're excited about that, and we'll hopefully become a real town that takes care of those in need. So thank you.
John, if you would, follow up on the maintenance on the golf carts. I checked today and there are 15 disabled golf carts at this time. With the increased play, some folks are having to stand around and wait on golf carts. But if you would, just follow up, see who's...
I'll follow up, and hopefully if we could get this, if the money keeps coming in, we can move up the lease purchase sooner. As you know, it's in the budget for December, but with the number of people playing, it's been tremendously successful. And thank you all for supporting the Billy Casper Golf Tournament. As you know, the town square got $2,000 out of that tournament. So thank you all for your participation and support of Billy Casper's program. So let me give you these books, something to read. I think you'll be impressed. Have you seen this? No.
Bob Headley.
I'm Bob Headley, and I'm on the fundraising committee and the steering committee for the Town Square project. And I was ordered by my superiors to give you a progress report, John DeWitt and Tom Gill. So I'll try to do that. Carlos and Don and Maggie and Al, I beg your indulgence. You may hear some repetition from last Friday night at the settings. But, you know, the grass is growing out there, and all it required was a little bit of about 8 truckloads of dirt, a little grass seed, some straw, and water. And it looks pretty good. But this is just the beginning. Things get more complicated from now. What we're doing now is meeting with Valley residents. We've had about 4 meetings, and we're trying to get some advice, some counsel from them as to their ideas about what the town square should look like, what should be incorporated in it, and also get their advice about fundraising, how to go about it, and how successful it will be. We have fundraising is going to start shortly, hopefully complete by the first of the year, and construction of the square at that time. The only things we know now is that you can buy a brick for $50 and have your name on it. And probably if you would write a check for 7 figures, you can get your name on the park, on the square. Those are the only things we know. There's going to be a lot of things in between. In my view, this is going to be a very important decision as to how this square is going to look. It's going to be the heart and soul of Black Mountain. It's going to be the centerpiece. The people are going to come here and see that park, see that square, and that's what they'll remember about Black Mountain. We are volunteers. You're the stewards of the town. You have to keep an eye on us and make sure what we're doing it right. So it's going to reflect on all of us if we don't do it right. So help us out.
Thank you, Bob. See, Savannah Henderson and Julie White, you both have signed up for the smoking ordinance, and we're going to have a public hearing on that. So I would encourage you to speak at that
Yeah,
time.
that's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
I didn't know where to sign up.
Okay, so we'll hold your comments until that time. I think it'd be more appropriate for you. Ms. Brandon?
I'll wait till the second citizens' comments then.
Ms. Lucenheiser?
Budget, so I'm not gonna do it now.
Okay. Okay, on the consent agenda, we have the adoption of minutes. We all had a copy of those. Here. Under B, it's called for a public hearing on regarding the speed limit of 20 miles per hour on Jenny Avenue. This has been recommended by the planning board. It'll be held July the 9th at 6 here, which will be your regular meeting. The budget amendment for funds to replace the damaged pump number 5 on Vance Avenue due to excessive voltage. A budget amendment transferring funds to adjust the budget to reflect the Powell bill expenditures. This is moving from streets division to the Powell bill division. A budget amendment to adjust transfer funds from planning capital outlay to recreation services capital outlay. Resolution to endorse an update to the Buncombe County Solid Waste Management Plan. Any discussion on any of these? If so, is there a motion to approve consent items A through G as presented? Okay.
Just make a comment if I could. Yeah, I just want to make one comment. Jamie, on that D there where they're talking about the damage to the pump on Vance Avenue, excessive voltage. And I didn't see Mark back there. Sorry, Mark, I guess it's more directed towards you. But I think you and I had a discussion because of the pump I have up on off of Montreat Road. And when I went ahead and followed through with Progress Energy suggestion, or Frank Jordan, to get Progress Energy to put that surge protector at the meter base. There's been several outages up there, and it has not affected the pump yet. The pump goes off, and I got to reset it, but it has protected it. So if you've done that, great. If not, I'd suggest looking into that too, as a way to protect that.
We have one type of surge protector, but it just didn't catch this last one.
Okay. Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Communications from boards, commissions, and outside agencies. Greenways, Carolyn Freiberger, Health Services Program Administrator. Carolyn, when will you be leaving?
I will be, my last day with the town will be July 13th, and I'm leaving to go do a master's in city and regional planning at University of Chapel Hill in Chapel Hill. So Friday, it is a Friday the 13th. I hope that doesn't.
Friday the 13th for us too. I know I speak for the entire board. You've done a tremendous job. We've seen this area grow under your leadership and the plans that you've implemented. So I know it's a hearty thanks from all of us for the job you've done. And whenever you need a recommendation of any type, don't fail to call on us or any support we can give to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I've definitely enjoyed my time with the town, and it's really enabled me to go on and do this work. So, thank you. And the reason for my coming before you tonight is that Connect Buncombe, which is the county greenways master planning group, has put together a new promotional video, which goes along with the campaign they've been doing for about the past 5 months called their Greenways Please campaign. Through that campaign, they've been encouraging people to submit photos with a sign saying an activity they'd like to do on a greenway. So I'd like to run on a greenway, or I'd like to walk my dog on a greenway. And this video kind of compiles a lot of those photos and puts it into more of an interactive form. And it features a lot of Black Mountain sites, so I thought you all would enjoy seeing it. And just, yeah, thank you for supporting Greenways here in Black Mountain and for helping us to connect the whole county. So I'll let them take it from here.
I want to run on a greenway from my house to downtown Asheville.
I want to ride my bike on a greenway across Buncombe County.
We want to play on a greenway.
We want to garden on a greenway.
We want to roast fair trade coffee on a greenway.
We love to bike on the greenway.
I want to go fast on the greenway.
The county commissioners started the Greenways and Trails program in 2008. Early on, we realized that we really needed to get the word out on what it is we're doing. At Connect Buncombe, we're developing a plan that will connect Asheville to Black Mountain, to Weaverville, to Woodfin, to Montreat, to the Blue Ridge Parkway, and all of our favorite parks. And we need your help to do it.
And my name's David Donnell. I'm the owner of the Asheville Outdoor Center. Well, the greenways have really had a wonderful impact. I mean, it's phenomenal. We see it every day. It is an impact on our business. It's great exposure. Everybody loves to come to see this. They want to come out and see it. They want to experience it. Whether they're walking the trail or paddling a boat or running with their baby, however they get out, it's for everybody.
This family farm has been in my family for 165 years. We strive to get people to come out here and learn about things like pollination and growing hops and picking blueberries. To have the greenways come by or close to the farm here would just be just such a benefit, just such an economic boost to this farm. Would be just, I couldn't tell you how much it would benefit us.
Lots of cities in the South, like Morganton and Greenville, South Carolina, have developed greenways and see the benefits that they produce. People get to walk and bike to work and school. Small businesses grow, more businesses come in, but most importantly, the quality of life is improved for everyone. We're partnering with municipalities and businesses, but so much depends on individual participation. It's going to take a community effort to realize our long-term vision. We're asking you to participate in our Greenways Please campaign by sending us a picture with your preferred use of the Greenway. And visit buncombecounty.org/connect to donate to Greenways and learn more. This is a massive goal, but we can achieve it one step at a time, 1 mile at a time. It'll take a great community effort, but 5-10 years from now, we'll see the connections that are made. I'll be out with my kids on a greenway.
I'm gonna make a movie on a greenway.
I want to feed people on the greenway.
We want to fish on a greenway. We want to fish on a greenway.
I'm going down. Hey, hey, boys, I'm going down. Well deep under the ground. The sweetest sound inside of me I found under the ground. Hey, hey, boys, I'm going down.
Country. Very good. Next, the public hearing. This is a text amendment to the land use code regarding tobacco-free ordinance 012-02, as recommended by the planning board. A motion to open the public hearing on the proposed text amendment regarding tax-free ordinance.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? This time we'll hear those who would like to speak in regard to this proposed hearing. And those first two that signed up will allow others to speak too if they wish. First would be Savannah Henderson.
Hello, my name is Savannah Henderson, and I'll be a senior at Owen High School next year. And I also work for Youth Empowered Solutions in Asheville with a tobacco use prevention program. I came here about a month ago to speak to all of you about the smoke-free policy with the Parks in Black Mountain. But today I come to you in hopes that I can show you how advantageous it would be to change that smoke-free policy to a tobacco-free policy. A smoke-free policy is one that eliminates the use of smoke-producing tobacco, with a primary concern being to eliminate secondhand smoke exposure, while tobacco-free policy eliminates the use of all tobacco products, with the primary concern being overall health and ethical concerns. So while a smoke-free policy is primarily about the health of others due to secondhand smoke exposure, a tobacco-free policy emphasizes the health of all people. And as a town, I think we definitely care about all of our citizens. And a tobacco-free policy sends the most direct and concerned message to our citizens that we care about their health and it is important to all of us. So while smoke-free, I believe, is a small step, tobacco-free is a huge leap for this town. So please support a tobacco-free policy in our parks. This will protect our friends and our family, as well as convey a positive and progressive image on behalf of the town of Black Mountain. Thank you.
Thank you. Julie White.
Julie White, 205 9th Street. I don't have a lot to say except that I totally support this proposal and ask for your vote for it. Thank you.
Anyone else like to make a statement on this? I totally support it also. I think it's really good. I think tobacco is one of the biggest dangers we've got to our health. Is there if there's no one else wants to speak, I'll call for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
In discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Is there a motion to adopt a statement of consistency as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. In discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There's a motion to adopt ordinance 0-12-02 as presented.
And repeat your question.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. In discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I think you made a good step there. The next one won't be quite so quiet, I don't think.
Yes, it will.
Thank you. Thank you for your leadership, Alden.
Thank you very much.
Now, we're going to move into the budget. This time, Michael Sobel has asked us to speak.
Yeah, I'd like to just make a quick amendment to the budget, and that would be that we go ahead and we reduce the number of firemen that has been requested from 1.5 to 1. That would be a savings right at $24,000, and to move that into the contingency line item.
There's a motion to reduce the 1.5 to 1.5 firemen, moving funds to the contingency. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Two opposed. Motion carries 3-2. Okay. At this time, I'll accept a motion to open the public hearing on our annual operating budget.
I so move.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now open for the public hearing on the budget. Elaine, you were the first one.
Thank you. Elaine Lotson, House 4 Kennedy Road. I have two things to comment on. In the budget, according to your discussion, and I attended all but one of the budget hearings, I noticed that the contingency fund was reduced from $25,600 in this current fiscal year to $0 in fiscal year 12-13. Are you not anticipating any expenditures unexpectedly for next year? That's a question, presumably, that you won't answer. And I'd also like to point out on the $6,000 that you have awarded the Black Mountain and Swannanoa Chamber of Commerce, they have two very expensive fundraising events, the Taste of Black Mountain and the Sourwood Festival. They have raised their booth cost to the public to get a booth there so much that the Women's Club of Black Mountain can no longer, that was one thing that they couldn't participate. They used to for years. But it costs them more than what they can afford anymore, so they discontinued. Whereas Business to Business gives to the town, they have the, whatever that thing is on Thanksgiving, Thanks to Black Mountain, is that what it's called?
Thanks Evening.
Thanks Evening. And then the Christmas Jolly, Holly Jolly, or whatever it
Business
is.
and business.
And they don't get any money from the town, they do it on their own. And I'd just like to point out those two things. I don't see that we need to give the Chamber of Commerce $6,000.
Thank you. Anyone else like to make a statement? I believe the contingency was moved over to public buildings.
That's correct. You had it in different areas in last year's budget. We consolidated all of that into one line item under public buildings this year. And Dean, with the change we just made, that put us at about $107,000 in contingency. But it was in other different places last year. So it's at 107.
Okay. Anyone else like to speak on the budget?
Phil Sessi, 15 Ivy Drive. I have not studied the budget, so I'm just asking. What is in there for improving our infrastructure? Something like maybe a sidewalk in front of this building, simple things. Or maybe working on the Carver Center a bit so it might be more useful. Is there anything in there for at least inventorying what we have and making as-built drawings? We know what we have, and we have a piece of paper that we can sit down and do some planning on. Those are the three things that I don't know if they exist, and I wanted to ask.
Thank you for your comments. I would suggest you get with Al or Dean, and the questions that you've raised have all been addressed. Matter of fact, one of the priorities is sidewalk on Montreat Road. The other thing is a priority with Carver School. I'd like to thank Al, Dean, and staff for the work and the close attention they gave to this budget. And the board for not just a cuts-only approach, but diligent looking for ways to increase economic efficiency. Not raising taxes or revenues or crafting a budget that is dependent on a one-time money. I believe this budget covers the demand for services. I'm thankful to this board for eliminating the previously passed garbage fees, yet the staff and board have created a budget without raising the fund balance, as the previous three budgets have proposed. This budget conforms with the various legislative proposals that we think may impose mandates upon us. We believe a budget that must always support our town's growth and opportunities, requiring a balanced and sustainable approach, one that responsibly looks at revenues as a tool to continuously improve our fiscal condition. This budget is not piecemeal. It addresses the fundamental needs of Black Mountain today and in the future. We have started a long-term balanced approach to address the fundamental needs of today and also the future. I think this board, this staff has done an excellent job, and I commend them for that. Is there?
I have comments, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Once again, we're at the time where we must decide on the budget for the next fiscal year in Black Mountain. I'm proud to have been a part in the development and review of this budget, just as I've been in the past 2 previous years. This year's budget has presented itself very different from its predecessors, in that for the most part it contains no tax increases, but also contains no tax decreases. It contains no increases for sanitation, but it does include a very modest increase in our water fee and water connection fees. It contains appropriations for, well, that's just changed, 1.5 new firemen, that's changed to 1. To staff the fire station located off of Blue Ridge Road, much needed to ensure proper and necessary service delivery to our residents south of the railroad track. This budget allows for the purchase of new vehicles to ensure that our police department is adequately equipped and to have proper vehicles to patrol our streets. This budget allows for the funding, once again, of services and organizations vital to the growth and pleasure of our town. The Chamber of Commerce, Little League Sports, the Swananoa Valley Museum, the Black Mountain Center of the Arts, and other assorted recreational and cultural venues. This budget also allows a 3% raise to our town employees who go above and beyond their normal job descriptions every day to ensure that you and your families are protected, receive proper services, and are treated with utmost dignity and respect. This budget, unlike previous years where budgets where Ms. Brown and I were subjected to criticism and ridicule, when we felt the need to support the wishes and requests of the town managers at the time, has been prepared within the arena of proper civil accord. This budget has not been agreed upon by all items, but we have acted maturely and served as you have expected us to in preparing this document. And I do reach out to my alderman and say thank you, and to the mayor and to the staff for sitting down together and working this out. Our town, just as the rest of our nation and the world, continues to experience economic hardships and worries. But by being good stewards of the town's funds and exercising good judgment, I believe that we will continue to work to get the best for what we need. I would like to thank Interim Manager Richardson, stepping you up there, Al. Our department heads, our town employees, the mayor, my fellow members again, for coming together and for presenting you a budget that will ensure the continued growth and prosperity of our town. But I would also like to personally thank you, the citizens of Black Mountain, for accepting the challenges of the past 2 years in very hard economic times, by paying your taxes, by making cuts in your own personal budgets, and doing less for the overall good of all. You are the true champions of our community, the leaders and visionaries that make Black Mountain such a great place to live. Thank you.
Any other comments? Not, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So move.
Have a motion to close it. Any discussion? Not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Is there a motion to adopt this annual operating budget as presented?
I make that motion.
Motion and discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Unfinished business. Call upon our distinguished counselor, Ron Sneak.
Calling it distinguished, hoping I'll talk fast and get done quickly. On your agenda, item 6A, there's a string of policies and plans asking or put before this board to be adopted. These sprung out of the CDBG grant application. Buried within that application, the mayor has to certify that we comply with certain laws and have certain plans in place to get the CDBG money. We identified 7 of those. We didn't feel like it was appropriate for the town to approve a grant application, and by implication, adopt these policies. I'm going to go through them, give you the shorthand version. Most of these we probably in action have been abiding with these, but to our knowledge don't have an official policy in place. The first of those, and this HUD Section 3 plan, and this one's fairly well related to the CDBG grant. This is a requirement that when using federal funding that you seek to employ the lowest income people. And under HUD Section 3, it's just this, if the board adopts this plan, the plan states that in the event we get into the CDBG grant, that it will be incumbent upon the company, Ingalls, to seek to employ those people in the lowest income brackets, to provide those jobs to those who need it most. I'm not going to read this in detail. It doesn't say a whole lot more than that, but that resolution is to adopt this plan, encouraging and directing that Ingalls or anybody else operating under the grant attempt to provide jobs to the lowest income people.
I ask for a motion for consideration to adopt resolution R-12-11.
So moved.
In discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0.
The next on the agenda is an equal employment plan. We probably have on our books other forms of this same requirement, meeting this requirement. This is a civil rights requirement, obviously, that in the employment of personnel that are hiring, we don't discriminate for any illegal reason, for minorities, religion, ethnic background, or sex. This is simply a resolution of the town of Black Mountain adopting an equal employment plan stating that those discriminations will not exist for the town employees, and that Ingalls, if it employs people under the CDBG grant, will comply with the same.
Ask for a motion to adopt resolution R-12-2 to approve the equal employment plan.
I so move.
In discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 5-0.
The next is, and this is directly related to the CDBG grant application. In the event the grant is awarded and Ingalls spends the money, this is a federal procurement requirement that we have to adopt that is applicable just to Ingalls in this situation. I will tell you that this procurement requirement under the federal law is less stringent than what the town operates under daily when it acquires or purchases or bids out for services or goods. But it is simply states that for purchases more than $25,000 that you'll bid it. That sealed bids, it spells out the process by which you can be bid. In North Carolina, there are 2 or 3. One is it's a low number, you just go out and make the deal. Second is informal bidding process, and third is a formal or sealed bid process. Adopting this says simply that in any of those processes that the town will comply with federal regulations. Again, you'll find, if you want to take the time to read, you'll find that these federal requirements are less stringent than the town works under anyway under state law.
Motion to adopt resolution R-12-13.
Make that motion.
In discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0.
The next one is the adoption of a citizen participation plan. I will tell everybody here that this is, although we have to adopt it to comply with the CDBG requirements, this is more applicable to housing portions or housing applications in CDBG grants. And then before you jump out of your seat, I guess I need to back up a step. A bit of information that failed to get out there early in this process is that of all the CDBG money coming down to the federal government, 75% is for housing, 25% is for economic development. No, we cannot reroute this economic development money into housing. Nonetheless, this citizen participation plan that we're asking the board to adopt sets out an oversight process basically for citizen committees when you have a long-term housing project going. In this situation, the citizen participation for this grant is, as some of the citizens have pointed out, needs to be on the front end, not the back end. The adoption of this citizen participation plan, although we've got to do it, doesn't do a lot for this particular project. On the flip side of that is, as some of you know, the town has taken the steps of asking my office to review the grant application and to revisit any hearing stage we feel we need to make sure that the public, the front end citizen participation plan before the grant application goes in is completed. But again, need to adopt this to comply with federal requirements, but what you're looking at is an after grant participation plan that when you're using grant money to build 2 intersections, doesn't have a lot of bearing in their case.
Motion to adopt resolution R-12-14 to approve the procurement policy.
I'll make that motion.
In discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries 5-0.
The next is the language access plan. Although this town is under ADA and a number of standards, taking steps to make sure that those who cannot understand what I'm saying because language is not your first language or your primary language, or you're not very adept at English, that you can get the information that this town provides. This language access plan, probably just a little more detailed, providing that if necessary, the town will provide access to interpreters at no expense to the citizen who needs to be able to communicate with the town, or in this case, with the operatives under the CDBG grant, and the steps will be taken to see to it that they, whether it be by interpreter or whatever means, they are able to understand what's going on with this project or any piece of it. Doesn't require us to hire an interpreter. It's just that if the need arises, we will find an interpreter. The county, at least the court system, has a pool that can be accessed for that purpose.
Motion to adopt resolution R-12-15 to approve the language access plan.
So moved.
In discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
The next resolution is to approve a plan to further fair housing. And this is just about all educational. Attached to it is a timetable where over the course of the next 2 years, pamphlets will be made available to people about how to protect their rights when it comes to housing, be they tenants or buyers. Establish meetings, or at least open meetings or seminars where physical legal services will come out and inform the public of their rights, and for the town to make sure they have representatives going to meetings to learn about the rights of citizens. Again, this is not an action item that requires anything to happen on this particular project. It's just that one of those things that to get a grant, you have to have in place showing that you're providing education to your citizens about fair housing.
Okay, motion to adopt resolution R-12-16 to approve the plan to further fair housing.
So moved.
In discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
And the last one is the anti-displacement and relocation plan. And this one, as everybody who's halfway familiar with the project knows, that to build the 2 intersections that the grant money would be used for does not displace anybody. Nobody's going to lose their home. But we're required to adopt a plan that says that we're using grant money or CDBG money for any purpose, and we displace anybody, we have to provide them with replacement housing.
Okay. So motion to adopt resolution R-12-17 for anti-displacement and relocation plan.
Make that motion.
In discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, council.
Thank you.
Next is a project to increase the water pressure for residents on the left side of Moncrief Road up to the kind of Moncrief entrance. Is there a motion to approve the $61,140 funding for the project as per cost estimate provided by Civil Design Concepts?
So moved.
The motion, do we have any discussion? I know it was covered at length in the agenda meeting. There being no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Plymouthville vacancies. The first on the agenda is the Greenways Commission. We have 3 vacancies. The first vacancy is for a 3-year term ending June the 30th, 2012. Do I have a nomination?
Nominate Dawn Wilson.
Are there any other nominations?
Just 3 openings.
Well, we'll do them one at a time.
One at a time.
Yeah. All those in favor of appointing Don Wilson? Raise your right hand. Don Wilson is appointed. The second vacancy is for a 3-year term ending June the 30th, 2012. Do I have a nomination for the second vacancy?
I nominate,
Go ahead.
I nominate Becky James.
Becky James.
James.
Are there any other nominations? Being none, all those in favor of appointing Becky James, raise your right hand. Opposed? James will be appointed to the Greenways Commission. Third vacancy, for a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2012. Do I have a nomination?
I nominate Jack Williams.
Are there other nominations? All those in favor of appointing Jack Williams, raise your right hand. Opposed? Carries 5-0. Jack Williams is appointed to the Greenways Commission. For the Historic Preservation Commission, we have 2 vacancies. First vacancy is for a 3-year term ending June the 30th, 2015. Do I have a nomination?
Nominate Roger Rio.
Roger Rio. Are there any other nominations for the first vacancy? All those in favor of appointing Roger Rio, raise your right hand. Opposed? Motion carries. Roger Rio is appointed to the Historic Preservation. Second vacancy is for a 3-year term in June 3rd, 2015. Do I have a nomination?
Nominate Phil Facessi.
Are there any other nominations?
I'm not sure he's on that.
Historic preservation.
Yeah,
So we're on the Housing Commission.
we're on historic.
Oh,
We only had one
we
application
only have
for
one application.
historic preservation.
No, there's Stephen Parrish.
Yeah.
I'd like to nominate Stephen Parrish.
Okay. So we had a deadline on those being turned in. Is that true?
On the applications, yes, sir.
Okay. Then if Facessi doesn't qualify for this one, then if he's not, or is he on it?
No, on historic, no, he's not
you're
on
on
it.
No.
Okay. Okay, then
We're
you're on.
looking at the wrong thing. Yeah.
Okay, he was looking at the wrong one over
Yeah.
here.
The sign of the board was wrong.
Yeah.
All those in favor of appointing Stephen Parrish,
Parrish.
raise your right hand. Stephen Parrish is appointed to the Historic Preservation Commission. Housing Commission, we have 3 vacancies.
We only got 3 applicants, right?
Right.
So can we just do that all?
They're all in 2012. You want to put all 3 of them on?
Yes.
Somebody nominate all 3.
I nominate Phil Facessi, Peter Vasquez, and Jeff Hunter. Those are the 3, right?
Hunter.
Jeff Hunter.
Okay, we have a motion for Facessi, Vasquez, and Hunter. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? These 3 are appointed to the Housing Commission. Planning Board, we have 2 vacancies, 4 out. First vacancy is for a 3-year term in June 30th, 2012. Nomination.
Jesse Gardner.
Jesse Gardner. Any other nominations for this first vacancy? All those in favor of appointing Jesse Gardner, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Jesse Gardner is appointed. second vacancy is for a 3-year term ending June the 30th, 2012. Nomination?
I nominate Evie Googe.
Any other nominations? All those in favor of appointing E.B. Goode, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1. E.B. Goode is appointed. Recreation Commission, we have 3 vacancies and 6 applicants. First vacancy is for a 3-year term ending June 30, 2012. Do I have a nomination?
Nominate Judy Eubanks.
Judy Eubanks. Any other nominations for this first vacancy? All those in favor of appointing Judy Eubanks, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Judy Eubanks is appointed. Second vacancy is for a 3-year term ending June 30, 2012. Do I have a nomination?
Nominate Brian Burpo.
Brian Burpo. Any other nominations? All those in favor of Brian Burpo, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Burpo is appointed. Third vacancy is for a 3-year term ending June 30, 2012. I have a nomination.
I'd like to nominate Al DiGitano.
Thank you.
All those in favor of appointing Al, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Urban Forestry Commission. Do we have any nominations for the Urban Forestry Commission? We don't have any, do we?
We have no applicants, no, sir.
Zoning Board of Adjustment.
Nominate Archie Patilli.
First alternate position, we have Archie Patilli. Are there any others? All those in favor of appointing Archie Patilli, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Archie Patilli is appointed as an alternate to the Board of Adjustment.
Now,
Yeah.
explain to us exactly how many we have here.
Okay, I'm
that
sorry.
we're voting for.
We have 3 vacancies. And we have 2 applicants. You want to pick up a third one, didn't we?
We got a third
Yeah.
applicant that come in today. That's correct.
Does that meet the requirements?
You can waive it. Make a motion, waive it.
If I'm not mistaken, we have the availability to be able to appoint somebody whenever there is a vacancy, that they don't have to apply with any kind of deadline.
Yeah. Or you, or if, to be perfectly legal, I'd say you probably could waive the requirement that we had, right, Counselor?
I'd rather not waive any of the requirements on any of these.
Well, I would say this deadline requirement for applying is much like your rule of no beyond second terms. It would require a 4/5 vote to suspend the rules or waive it before you could nominate somebody who didn't have their application in on time, for instance.
Okay. Second. Nomination for the alternate position. Is there a nomination?
I nominate Bob Pauley.
Bob Pollard. Are there any other nominations? All those in favor of appointing Bob Polley as alternate to the Zoning Board of Adjustment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Yes.
4-1. Bob Polley is appointed. Is there a motion to waive the requirement?
No, I'll make a motion. We waive the requirement.
Since you got a 5th one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, I mean, before we vote, Sneak, correct me if I'm wrong, Gil, but if, let's just say that the board does not waive the requirement, but we come to the July meeting.
You're going to have to bring this back up and have a vote, correct?
And we won't need to waive the requirement then, correct?
Correct.
So,
I hope that everyone just waives the requirements so we don't have to worry about dealing with this now.
But if we start waiving the requirements, then there's the issue about if you waive it anywhere else. I mean, on these appointments, we ought to go by the letter of whatever the agreement is and just stay straightforward on it rather than waiving any requirements.
All right. I'm gonna call for a vote. All those in favor of waiving the requirement, raise your right hand. Opposed? Motion failed. We move on to the ABC board.
So
We're going to have four fields.
So that then
There's no other, we don't have any other.
you will bring that to us.
In July.
Well, you will be here, but then Matt will bring it to us at the.
Exactly, yeah.
And maybe somebody for the urban forest.
Yeah, we'll re-advertise. We'll re-advertise that for urban forestry. One thing that may help that, just a quick comment about Urban Forest Commission. They have gone to, they don't have a lot on the table, not a lot going on. And they've gone to one meeting every 2 months versus a meeting every month. So that may change. We'll get that word out too, and that may change, they get more interest.
Okay, for the ABC board, we have one vacancy. This is for a 3-year term in June 30th, 2012. Do I have a nomination?
I'll nominate Rick Spalding.
Rick Spalding's nominated. Any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Larry Harris.
Larry Harris nominated.
I nominate Archie Patillo Jr.
You've already got him on one.
as alternate.
Okay. Okay. All those in favor of Rick Spalding, raise your right hand. All those in favor of Larry Harris, raise your right hand. Those in favor of Archie Patillo? Larry Harris is appointed to the ABC board.
That's vacancy for chair.
We're responsible for appointing the chair of the ABC board. The current ABC board members are Mary Sneed, Deborah Wooten, and Larry Harris. Do I have a nomination for the chair?
I nominate Larry Harris as chairman.
Any other nominations?
Nominate Deborah Wooten.
Deborah Wooten's nominated. Any other nominations? Any discussion? All those in favor of Larry Harris as chairman, raise your right hand. Deborah Wooten. Larry Harris is your new chairman. Ron, do you have any communications tonight?
Just a very brief update on process on reworking and completing the CDBG application. We've run into what might be a hurdle in that the time it's taken to prepare the CDBG application. Ingalls has had to proceed to hire. Right at the moment, they're having to reassess whether they have enough hires left yet to proceed with the grant application. Other than that, everything is progressing.
Okay. Al Richardson, town manager.
Yes, sir. Just a couple of things. I want to ask Casey Connor to come up, if you will, please. And Casey and I have been talking about an idea that Casey had, and I think it's a really good one, pertaining to disc golf, and the idea of doing somewhat what we're doing on our golf course, and that's selling advertising. We're letting someone else do that over there, but Casey's got an idea that he wants to bring to us tonight. As I said, I think it's a real good one. So Casey, with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, as you guys can see, the sign on the picture on the right, on the lower right, that is one of our current maps and T signs. The one in the circle on the left is a T sign that is at the Owen High School disc golf course. It's a little bit hard to see there, but it's split. It's got a map on one side and sponsorship on it. And what we're looking at is selling sponsorship on half of the T sign, approximately $100 per year, which could raise anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 that we'd like to use for improvements on the disc golf course. You know, right now, the disc golf course, of course, as you can see, it needs new tee signs. There's also some tee pads that need to be updated. We don't have any benches or trash cans on any of the holes either. And just to give you guys a little bit of information about disc golf, last week I started trying to quantify the number of disc golfers we had. I put a sign-up sheet on the kiosk down there, and in 1 week we had 166 people sign in on that sign-in sheet. Now, by just showing up down there a couple times and seeing the people who hadn't signed up, I'm guessing that we probably had closer to double that amount of people actually down there playing. I have the sign-up sheet down there still. I'll keep it up for about a month. Hopefully we'll be able to use that list to help, you know, obtain some sponsors. And what we're looking at is for sponsorship is, like I said, about $100 a year, and selling a 3-year or 3 or 5 year sponsorship on it. I got signs priced out from Precision Graphics. The signs are relatively cheap, so there'll be very little money spent on the signs themselves. Anyways, I highlighted some of the course improvemements, and then some of the upcoming events that we're going to be having down there. July 7th, the NCRPA Sidewinder doubles event will be down there. Last year we had 16 groups down there in that, and then we'll also be having a Discraft Ace Race on September the 15th. It's a unique event where people pay $25. They get 2 new Frisbees, and those are the only ones that they're allowed to use that day. And the only things that count for strokes are how many hole-in-ones you get. So we'll have to do some modifications, but those typically bring in about 25 to 30, and some places have had as many as 300 people come to those Ace races. If you want to go to the next slide, this is an event that we had down there this past Saturday. It was a Father's Day event. It was hosted with between us and the Western North Carolina Disc Golf Association. We had 15 father-child groups, and actually there were some uncle-nephew groups and father-daughter group and stuff. And so we had kids as young as 3 and some kids as old as 43, and some of the parents were as old as 64. But as you can see, we had everybody got a new Frisbee for signing up for the event, and you can see some of the activities that we had down there as well. So, anyways, that was just an idea to raise some sponsorship money and get things paid for, without using tax money for it. So. You guys have any questions?
I'm amazed how many play. You had quite a large group of us playing.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah. We have Monday doubles every Monday that they're probably out there playing right now, and usually they're getting 20 to 30 people out there for that as well.
But they play all day long too, you know. Different.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Board, what we're after tonight, we're not after a vote or anything like that, but we're just asking your blessing for us to go ahead and pursue this idea and get some facts and figures for you, and maybe put a little proposal together to bring back to the board at a later date.
I don't think the board has any objection to it.
Good deal. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about is the golf course, a little update on the golf course. John DeWitt beat me to the punch. I was going to talk about the relocation of the pro shop. He's already handled that for us, but I am real happy that has been done. I think it's where it needs to be, and I'm real glad that we got that done. The other thing that I left for the mayor and board for you this afternoon, you had asked me to get some numbers for you pertaining to the croquet court. the different prices. We got prices, as you know, for sodding some time ago, and I got prices for sprigging and seeding the court. Now, obviously the seeding is a cheaper option. I believe that was $6,000. Get that from me. That was a little over $6,000 for that option. $6,238.64 for seeding, and for sprigging $9,963.64. So that's not brought to you tonight for a vote, but just for your review. And maybe we'll want to put that with your guidance. You may want that on the July agenda. Just let us know.
I think it was, we got to address it, so put it on the July agenda.
Okay. Okay, so that's all I have. I think you got Jamie coming up next, but that's all
coming up. Well, come on up, Jamie. While you're coming up, I want to read an email I got about you. I called Jamie and asked for some help with trimming a few bushes near the house that were blocking the road to you last week. It's from Gary Hammer. And Keith and Jamie jumped all over it quick. The customer service and communication skills they possess are super and reflect so well in the town and you all. It's so nice to have dedicated, customer-focused employees that live and work with us. Please pass my thanks on to your fine group of public works employees who do the work behind the scenes that make our town so special.
Thank you. Thank you to Gary, and I appreciate it. The reason I'm up here tonight, I want to introduce you to somebody first of all. His name's Mark Kaliski. You probably noticed him, he's your town's meter reader, but he's a jack of all trades. Back in November 2011, the town decided to take on a water model, which is GIS GPS mapping of the town water system, which would be when finished and completed, would be a great thing. It'd be good for capital projects. Mark and several of the staff has worked on it. Mark's been to school. He's still going to school. He's still doing the meter reader job, training the new meter reader, going to school, doing his homework. So he's got a plate full, and I'd just like to thank him for the job he's done. Mark White's been a big help to him. Steve Harmon, we contracted back, has been a great help, and so several staffs worked on it. But ultimately, Mark is the one entering all the information, and then when he's completed with that, he's got the task of training other people. So when you tell people about GIS, they sort of get a misunderstanding about it and what it's really about, and there's a lot of questions. So I just wanted to come up here tonight and let Mark give you a brief overview of what it is and what it's about, and if you got any questions, he'd be more glad to answer your questions. So with that, go ahead, Mark.
Thanks, Jamie. This project's more on information on the town infrastructure of the water system. On the screen, it has 3 parts: layers, transparency, and the legend. So I'm going to show you the legend for a second. All the hydrants have 4 different colors, and they are blue, green, red, and yellow. Those do have different gallons per minute the town offers. Right now, we don't have any mirrors as of right now, but we're working on that. And then we have, as of right now, 828 valves located and 270 hydrants done on the map as of right now. The blue line that you see around the area is it's a boundary, it's Black Mountain boundary for the fire district. We have a WK Dixon hosts us this information, and they supplied this with the 2010 orthographic, and it has a very unique way of looking at it because of the real life details of the map. As I zoom in as address of where we're at right now, it blows it up and get a real life detail where things are at in perspective. can zoom in closer. And there's 160 Midland Avenue. The valves look like this, and you can actually go in and actually blow them up on the screen. And it tells you all the information that I've collected over the last 6 months. In case of details, Keith took this one at this time. Gives you a location, when it was taken, what its functions are, and how well you can get to the valve from walking up to it, the accessibility of it. And then every valve and every hydrant I took, you have a photo of it.
Mark, does it also tell what size water line that it is on?
Yes, it actually gives you size. Right there you see the 2. That's what that means. It means that valve's a 2-inch valve that's in the ground, which most, if anybody knows water, if it's attached to a 2-inch valve, it's usually a 2-inch line it's connected to. The hydrants, they come in the different colors, so you can look on a map and see where your different pressure zones are at.
And it's sort of explained to them, Mark, about the colors on your hydrants.
Yeah, the colors on the hydrants, on this one, it's a blue top. It's the highest pressure you can get in town. It's 1,500 gallons per minute or higher. The different layers that we program them on the computer, you have one that's the 1,500 greater. Green is between 1,000 and 1,500 gallons per minute. And then if you want to go, this is out of order, but yellow is next, between 500 and 1,000 gallons per minute, and reds are least. Yeah, it goes between 5,000, 500 and less. So the picture on this hydrant shows you it's a blue top. It's next to the sidewalk. The field data that we've collected on each hydrant gives you an address, 207 East State Street, which is right down the road from here. It's got a lead valve. It tells you the make and the year of that hydrant. That information comes in handy when you try analysis on how old the hydrants are, ones we need to replace, information like that. You can actually do queries on this information to do future planning for the town. As of right now, we're working on water lines, and that information will come in handy again when we need to replace new ones in future major projects. As of right now, that project is starting at the end of this month. And if there's any questions, I don't mind answering it.
If I can add to what Mark's talking about, a layer is, he can pull up a layer which has all your valves, or it has all your hydrants, or he can put everything together. And the layers just go on and on and on. He can do meters, he can do hydrants, he can do valves, he can do lines. It lists the material, what size. When you go fix a water leak, Mark will be standing there to list what material was used to fix it, when it was fixed, how it was fixed. And then 10 years down the road, you realize you got more money in the line than what you got the line, so it's a good capital project to be replaced. So it's a money saver down the line. Plus, it's just a real good water model. When you get people trained, they don't have to wonder where valves are, they don't have to wonder where hydrants are at. It's good for fire, it's good for police. You can go as far as traffic signs, stop signs, street signs. It's never ending. It just depends on how far you want to go with it. But just wanted to give you an overview of where we're at, what we've been doing, and I'd just like to give Mark some recognition, and the staff have done a great job, and I appreciate what they've done. So if you got any questions.
Yeah, a question I've got is that this came up at the end of the 2 hurricanes that we had, Francis and Irene, when the town's water system went down, because it was of our inability to be able to segregate different sections of town.
Right.
And of course, at that time, we had asked Tony to get with Bob, to go ahead and let's make sure that this, doesn't ever happen again, so that if we have a blowout on the northwest side of town, that we can isolate that where are we in that, in attaining that goal?
Probably closer than we've ever been as far as, like Steve Harmon, he had great knowledge. Mark's got good knowledge. But as far as this goes, they've got every valve located but 4. So it's just learning now which valves isolates which lines, which it's easier to go by this and not knowing at all. So you got to start point.
So would you say that we could be able to achieve that? That let's say we had a blowout over on, Blue Ridge Road.
We can achieve that.
We could achieve that.
We can do that now. Now, but to be able to do it for the entire town, now I'm saying so that you would know every valve that you could do that. Would you be able to come back to us in 6 months or a year and say that no matter where we have a blowout, we can isolate that within 30 minutes?
Oh, yes. That's what this infrastructure is there for, yes.
One of the biggest problems that existed in the storms was the fact that the break was in the Swannoa River. So nobody was able to see any water leaking because it's going straight into the river. That was the whole big issue that existed then.
Yeah. Thank you, James.
You're welcome.
Good job, guys.
Very good job.
Thank you.
We have any comments from, do you have anything?
I just had a comment, and I've said this, and you can't say it too much, at the talent, the staff, the talented staff that the town is blessed with. We've got great people all the way through, and this is just a prime example of that, of things, good things that are going on. I'm so proud of our staff.
Okay. Any in the board have a comment?
Yes, sir.
I'm basically going to echo what the mayor and Carlos has already said as far as this budget that we've approved. It does have the 3% increase in the for the employees. There was a $300,000, basically $300,000 tax reduction in the garbage fee. We're adding the new firefighter. We also, which I don't remember anybody saying anything about, but we're putting $200,000 into the fund balance. And basically, the reason all this is going so well, and I think from Carlos all the way down to Maggie will agree, is we were all willing to listen and compromise. And there was nobody that had to have everything just their way. So I want to thank Al and all the staff and the department heads. Working through this budget was not anywhere near the nightmare that everybody thought it was going to be. And my compliments and thanks to every single person that was involved in this process.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, I'd like to say something about the board applications. I was impressed by how many of you applied for the boards. That's very encouraging. And it's too bad we couldn't have a place for everybody because all the applicants I thought were very well qualified. So those of you who weren't appointed this time, I encourage you to come back and reapply when the time comes. In fact, in July, we'll have a couple of openings. Some of you may want to reconsider and come into another board that you haven't applied for. But thank you so much for joining this team. This is a wonderful, wonderful team to be a part of.
Anyone else? Marilyn, we want to thank you for your input on the Buncombe County Solid Waste Plan. Your input was very valuable, and we certainly respect your opinion on things, since you're our #1 bag lady. At this time, we'll have citizen comment. Ms. Brandon?
Okay. Ruth Brandon, 722 Laurel Avenue. When you study the croquet court next month, I hope you will remember that Carl and I looked into this like a couple of years ago and asked for a list of the members, and there were some 34 members, and 6 of them at that time lived in the town and were property tax payers to keep the croquet court going. Also, I'm concerned about, of course, there's no public hearing on it, but this, back to the grant, resolution number 1211, it says that encourage the hiring of low and very low income persons. And I thought initially it was to hire 75 low income. So I wonder why the word encourage has been put into this. Also, I have remarked several times that one of the smartest moves that the board made when I was on it was to sign the contract with Billy Casper. And I still think that's going to be one of the real pluses for the town. The other thing is that, Carlos, thank you, because I think you gave a very accurate assessment of why you now have funds, why the board has funds to do things. It was because Alderman Joan Brown and Alderman Showers and I, often referred to as the three amigos, Alderman Sobel, something I never was smart enough to figure out because the only three amigos I know were in a Disney movie, they were all males. Somehow, Joan, I didn't quite fit into that. Anyway, we had the courage to do what we knew needed to be done. We did this from experience. We knew that we had to increase the taxes by 4.5 cents per 100 valuation. And now this will give you money to do with, funds to do with things that are very necessary for running the town. Of course, we did not do it to give it all away as freebies. We were very frugal, and I hope you will continue to be frugal. I realize that you lost $150,000 the past 6 months. You're going to lose $300,000 in the next budget year because the garbage collection fee was abolished. But it seems that you have worked around that. So I have a lot of confidence in you that you will continue to operate the way you're operating, and you'll be good stewards of the taxpayers' dollars. Thank you.
Anyone else? No objection? I'm going to declare this meeting adjourned.